Hi everybody, in today's video we're going to be looking at how much iRacing costs and ultimately whether it's worth the money. So I think it's quite well known that iRacing is quite expensive compared to other sims out there. In this video I'm going to go into the actual costs to hopefully give you a better idea of actually what it costs and ultimately look at whether I think it's actually worth the money. So straight away it's a lot more expensive than other titles out there. Things like Assetto Corsa, etc. With those titles you typically pay one price and then you have the game. You also typically might download a track pack or a car pack for something, but it's once again just a one-off fee. So in iRacing, straight away there's quite an expensive upfront cost, which is the membership. And in a future video I'll actually cover how to make this cheaper. But for now, let's just look at the real cost when you're on their website. And it's about $100-ish, but sometimes they have offers that you can have it maybe half price if you're a new user. Just on that, if you are going to sign up for iRacing, there's a link in the description just to help support the channel. If you use it, I think I get 10 credits or something like that, which will help me buy cars and content that I can make videos of in the future. So straight away you've got this yearly cost that you're paying for, which compared to most games is almost triple the price of a game. And then in the content you get there, you get stuff for free, but I'd say outside of rookies most of it isn't really that great. So you start off thinking, okay, that's cool, I've got these tracks, I've got these cars, I can race in these series, brilliant. But unless you want to just stick in MX-5s for your entire career, you're probably going to actually have to start spending some money. So exactly how much does that cost? So typically a car will cost about $12 and a track will cost about $15, and in my future video I'll actually show you how to make that a bit cheaper. You don't need to go out and buy all the cars or all the tracks. The recommendation is you basically look at the series you want to run in, find a suitable car, and then buy the tracks that you're planning to race that you don't already have. So one of the common mistakes people make when they get to iRacing, so just think it's like Gran Turismo or something like that, where you've got to get every car, every track, and that's why it gets really, really expensive really fast. But obviously each series you race might have different tracks, so even if you just stick to one car, you're over time going to be buying a lot of tracks. So the future video will kind of hopefully help make that a little bit cheaper, but that is kind of as it is. So I'm actually going to look at exactly what I've spent on iRacing over the years that I've done it, and actually look at the account order history so we can really get an idea of just how much it can cost. So as you can see here, I've made a total of 43 purchases on iRacing, including subscriptions. It's quite a funny one right at the start of 2011. I think I only paid for a month, realised it couldn't run on my machine so I didn't use it again. Similar to that, I think I paid for a year at some point and then didn't really use it, so I stopped using it again, dipped in and out, and then you can sort of see around 2017, 2018, I started actually taking it a bit more seriously. Now, there are several purchases here for cars and tracks, just on a ad hoc basis that obviously needed to pay, but the thing you'll notice in sometimes is quite big order amounts. And I'll cover that in a future video, but you can save money by kind of bulk buying things, so I can go over that. But in total I've spent $1,221, so that is a crazy amount of money to spend on a single sim title, especially when you also factor in all the cost of equipment like sim gear, etc. You can see why sim racing gets very expensive very fast. The only thing I'd say is obviously bear in mind that has happened over many years, because obviously had the subscriptions going for quite a while, and also there's probably a lot of stuff that I bought that I didn't actually need. Like I know that I've bought certain cars and then realised I don't like them, so I just don't use them. Similar with some tracks, I kind of bought certain tracks thinking that I'd race a certain series and then decided against it, which was a mistake. So as I say, I'll go into kind of how you can actually make this a lot cheaper in my next video, but the real question I wanted to answer is it worth the money? So for any of you that have seen my how to go from sim racing to real racing video, you'll have seen that in total when I actually went real racing, I think it cost something crazy like 20 something thousand. So compared to real racing, this is a lot cheaper. But obviously people are saying, but obviously in real world you're actually racing and this is just simulation stuff, doesn't really matter. What I'd say is iRacing is without doubt the best kind of racing sim out there. I know a lot of people question some of the tyre physics and stuff and say the cars should slide more, etc., which I do feel that on the newer tyre model it kind of does slide a lot more than it used to. But I think you just don't get the matchmaking that you get in iRacing in any other title. And so the iRating and safety rating system, combined with the matchmaking and the professionalism of how events are handled, etc., it just basically there's no other option. I think ACC kind of is trying to move into this market, but the matchmaking isn't as good. How sort of certain safety rating, etc., is calculated isn't quite as good. I know in ACC you can actually, I've seen people with hacks, so you don't even know if you're being beaten by a good driver or you're being beaten by essentially somebody cheating. And ultimately in iRacing, with the way that the splits work and the matchmaking, you can actually be guaranteed a good competitive race whatever your level. So if you're a beginner, you can join iRacing and actually be with good drivers around you that are about the same level as you, and who knows, maybe go to a win or get a podium. So you're not thrown in the deep end and basically everybody that's been here forever has a massive advantage over you. It makes it so nicely that you can actually have some really competitive races. Obviously there is a bit of a downside initially. People tend to not be as safe in the way that they drive, and therefore you can get taken out. But once you kind of push past rookies, get your safety rating up, some of the races and the driving you have are brilliant. And for myself, and I know a lot of people that are or were racing drivers that use iRacing, I don't think there's anything that comes close to replicating a real world racing experience than iRacing does. And yeah, basically it's just getting more and more professional in the way it goes. We've got the whole esports stuff, so if you really are good, you could actually rise up the ranks and get sponsored or make money, in which case the cost is kind of irrelevant. But I'd say just as a hobby, let's say it costs you, I don't know, each year about $60 in subscription, and then each year you race with one car, so you've already got that car, maybe you buy it, which is only about I think $12, and then you buy the, I don't know, 4 or 5 tracks that you need. In total then, you haven't spent that much per year relative to, I don't know, going out drinking or doing any other hobby really. So yeah, that's the reality of the costs. It is a lot more expensive, but I just don't think there's anything out there that can actually come close. Obviously there are other sims out there and you can have fun on those, but if you want really competitive races where you're matchmade against drivers of a similar skill and there's a level of professionalism there, yeah, you just won't get any closer than iRacing. So that kind of wraps up this video. Hopefully it's given you a bit of an insight of the real costs. Probably a little bit shocking actually to see how much I've spent. Obviously it won't necessarily cost you that much if you're just starting out, and that's over many years. In my next video I'm actually going to do a bit of a kind of breakdown of how you can actually save money and make these costs cheaper. There's a few things that you can do, and I'll cover them all in the next video. So if this has been useful, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't. If you're looking to start in iRacing soon, there's a link in the description below. It just helps support the channel, so definitely check that out. And hopefully I'll catch you guys on the next video. Cheers all!